Hello, welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbah. Well, Asante Kotoko will have to search for a new home ground temporarily because the Baba Yara Stadium will not be available for domestic competition until after Ghana's African Cup of Nations qualifier against Angola. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, the Ghana Football Association, and the National Sports Authority reached the decision during a meeting on Wednesday. It is to give managers of the pitch ample time to further improve its quality for the big game Ghana face Angola on Thursday, March 23rd. Now, the big question is, where will Kumasi Asante Kotoko tend to as alternative for their league matches, and also exactly what maintenance work is going to be carried out at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Well, for this, I'm joined by my colleague all the way in Kumasi with our sister station, Insura FM, Fifi Manfred, to bring us up to speed on this very development. Fifi, good to have you tonight. And of course, the news coming in is that Baba Yara Sports Stadium is going to be closed for some maintenance work ahead of Ghana's game. Do you have an idea what is likely going to be the focus at the stadium?
Thank you very much, Razak. At the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, I mean, as we already know, it's just been closed down for our game against Angola on the 23rd of March in an AFCON qualifier. But then generally, from the sports desk of Love and Insura FM, what we are picking is that the NSA, the GFA, and then the Ministry of Sports just want to do the regular maintenance work, the mowing, the fertilization, and the likes on the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, so that the pitch generally is going to be in good shape come the day. And also, other facilities in the stadium are also going to be in good shape come the day. So there are no major works that are going to be done, just basically closing it down for regular maintenance works like mowing and the likes and fertilization, and to make sure that the grass are well mowed and green and all set for the game, to make sure that stuff like the floodlights, the scoreboard and everything are being checked regularly in the 3 week span before the game. So generally, no major renovation work to be done there, just to make sure that regular maintenance work is being done.
Well, you recall the game, the last time the Black Stars played, it was against Nigeria. And of course, prior to that, we saw the difficulty that came, the concerns that were raised about the state of the stadium. And even the aftermath of that game, there were still concerns raised about the stadium, where some very things needed to be corrected. Some what is the latest on that? Have those things been fixed? Because you understand things like the floodlights needed to be changed to a certain intensity that is good for night football. From your sources at the National Sports Authority, have all of these things been fixed? And if CAF comes to inspect, there will be no issues?
So again, from what we are picking up from Love and Insura, what we've picked is that everything is all in set to go ahead for the game to be played at night or any other time. So if you recall, Kumasi Asante Kotoko have played a couple of night games at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, and these intensity for the floodlights have been tested and they're shown to meet the standards of CAF as it stands now. Also, one of the issues that was raised before the Ghana-Nigeria World Cup qualifier was the position of the various benches, the away and home benches. That has also been solved by the NSA. Also, apart from that, it was the place where the match officials were going to stay, the match commissioners were going to sit while the game went on. Now they do have a shade. They have a particular place where they can sit and watch the game and make sure the game and everything is being done well. So generally, everything has been done at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. One of the issues that was raised during the Ghana-Nigeria game was the issue of internet for journalists like ourselves. That's also, I hear, that the NSA have tried to solve that whilst they liaise with some telecommunication companies to try and solve that as well. So generally, it looks like everything is fine.
Well, if everything is fine, of course, the team that is going to be inconvenienced in this situation is Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who have adopted that ground as their home ground. Yesterday they were in action against Bechim United, but that's going to be the last time they will play there, at least for the next few weeks, because the stadium is obviously going to be closed. Have you picked any intel relative to where the club is considering to play their subsequent Ghana Premier League games?
Before the beginning of the season, Kumasi Asante Kotoko submitted two stadia. So the Kumasi Sports Stadium and of course the Cape Coast Stadium as well. These were the stadia that Kumasi Asante Kotoko submitted to the GFA. when the second round began, also they still submitted that same stadia. So normally we expect that Kumasi and Antigua will be playing their home games at the Cape Coast Stadium. Now that the Baba Yara Sports Stadium is going to be closed down, they have two games: one against Kumasi King Fighters, and of course Mediama on the 19th of March. Before the 23rd, the Black Stars will come to Kumasi. But again, from Lavenisha, what we are picking this evening is that Kumasi and Antigua have plans to appeal to the FA, the Sports Ministry, and then of course the NSA to allow them play the games there. Or if that doesn't work, then they should postpone their games from the games between themselves and Kumasi-based King Faisal and of course Mediama SC, so that they will not have to bear the cost of traveling to Cape Coast for home games and also dealing with also the very cost that they have to deal with for away games as well. Because of course they are saying that, like we already know, there are tough economic times for every club already. Even at home at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, people don't really throng the stadium to watch their games. How much more seemingly away at the Cape Coast Stadium? So they are trying to appeal to the GFA, the NSA, to sort of postpone their games so that maybe they will honor those games after Ghana plays. So generally, it's either they go to the Cape Coast Stadium, maybe they can also appeal to the FA to grant them another stadium that is closer. There are talks of the Abrankese, Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Stadium in Abrankese, where they can possibly play in. That may only happen if the FA grants them a conditional approval for them to play there. If that doesn't happen, we are hearing strongly that Kotoko are considering writing to the FA that they do not want to honor those games. They would hope that the FA will allow them to play those games later when the Black Stars honor their game at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium on the 23rd.
I mean, Fifi, talking about that Abrankese Stadium, of course, the owner of that stadium is the board chairman of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Dr. Che. Of course, shouldn't that be an easy alternative for the club? Because even pictures of the stadium, which we're going to show on the screen pretty shortly, the stadium looks to be in a good shape, and they could consider it, especially in terms of proximity and, concerns raised about traveling long distance and the financial costs that come with it. Abrankese, I'm sure, is in the Ashanti region, and it should be an easy alternative, shouldn't it?
Yes, Abrankese is in the Ashanti region. I mean, it's just a couple of kilometers away from Kumasi. Recently, Kumasi King-based King Faisal they've been granted permission by the GFA to play their home games over there as well. Or like you said, Dr. Pamche owns it, his team, the All Nations Football Club, play their games over there. I mean, it should be easy if Protocol wants to play there, and they are going to share the stadium again with Kumasi King Faisal if they want to go there. One would ask, why won't Protocol want to play there? These are questions that I personally cannot answer, but then it should be easy if they want to play there. I also think that Protocol would want to play their games because maybe at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, the kind of atmosphere they're able to get for their fans, it's a good one, and they would want to stick to it. So I think the best option for them, one of the best things that I know that Kotoko would want to explore is that they will not play these games. They will hope that those games are postponed until the Black Stars play their games so they can play them later. If not, the Abrankese definitely is in good condition. It's a beautiful stadium. I have been there. We did a report on it. It's a beautiful stadium. Everything is intact at the Abrankese. And King Faisal have already played 2 games there since the GFA granted them that permission. So definitely, Kotoko can explore that.
Well, Fifi, of course, you're looking forward also to that crucial game, Super Clash game on Sunday. Is there anything happening in the camp of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, especially following their win yesterday against Bechem United, that you would like to leave us with?
Well, Kotoko's home form this season have been arguably the best amongst the Premier League clubs this season. And that win came at a very, very good time, just before that Super Clash against Accra Hatsafo. And also, even apart from that, they got some very important players back into the team. The goal scorer on the day, Enoch Morrison, was very, very integral for Kotoko. And of course, if they are going to get any win away at Accra Hatsafo, then definitely that young man is going to be important for them. So everything seems to be good. It's just Kotoko's away form that hasn't been good. So if you are going to play away at Accra Sports Stadium against Accra Hatsafo, who themselves aren't in so much of a good form. If you watch that Bechem game, Kotoko were nearly put to the sword. Bechem controlled large parts of the game. They were very resolute at some parts. I saw some very good variations from Bechem, but hey, they could not punish Kumasi and Kotoko. Kotoko have some very, very good technical players in almost every part of the pitch that can punish anybody. So it was a good win. They are in a good place. They can only hope that they can replicate that form against Accra. almost everybody is fitting the team. Morrison, Lamptey, Zeze, everybody is in there. And of course, the experienced Mohamed Al-Hassan will be meeting his former club in Accra.
Yeah, Fifi Manfred, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it so much. Well, former